So yes, the title is exactly what it says. I'm a grown ass man and I'm giving my review of a full watch of season 1 of The Summer I Turned Pretty. Now, the thing is, my little sister was watching this show and she kept talking about it, kept telling me about it all the fucking time. Literally within 24 hours, this show was everywhere for me. All over my TikTok For You page. I've seen it on Twitter, Instagram. It's popping up in my YouTube recommendations. These algorithms are something else. Like, I saw this show literally everywhere. Now, my motto for would I give a show a chance, would I review it and watch it, all it has to do is be better than Riverdale. Literally, that's it. So I'm like, no way this could be worse than Riverdale. Like, it's not possible. So I'll give it a chance. I will admit, the bar I set for it was pretty fucking low. It exceeded it, of course. I think I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. But like I said, the bar was pretty fucking low. Now, of course, I had a few problems with the show that we're gonna dive into in this video, but I wanna get a few things out the way first. First off, for the people who's gonna say the things I don't like about it is because I'm not the target demographic, I'm gonna call bullshit and cap on that right now, because we're gonna point out and compare it to other TV shows that use some of the same concepts and things like that, other movies, so I can point out the differences of why it worked there and it doesn't work here, and I enjoyed it there and I just didn't enjoy it here. So for the people who are gonna say that in the comments because I didn't like a certain thing, I'm gonna call cap on you right now. Next thing is, I seen that season 2, at the time this video is released, and should be coming out less than a week from now. So depending on how this video does, I already want to expand my audience and not just do videos on what I do it on now. So this video is a way of doing that. Depending on how this video does, if you guys want a full review of season 2 once it comes out, it's over, I could do that as well. And third, I just found out they have books, so this is based on books. I don't want to know anything that happens in the books that could change my opinions, because I want to give predictions based off everything I witnessed and saw in season 1. So enough talking, let's get into it, and because there's a few problems and I want to see what you guys think about it, if you agree or maybe I'm just nitpicking. Let's get into it. So jumping right into the love triangle, because I want to talk about these 3 characters specifically first, because if we're being completely honest, we learn nothing about any of these characters in none of these episodes to make you choose a side. And that's just so weird, because the whole thing is about, I guess it's supposed to be like a Team Conrad versus Team Jeremiah thing, but none of these characters are interesting enough, or nothing interesting enough happened for anyone to pick a side. Like, these characters you learn absolutely nothing about. For example, Conrad, he's supposed to be the older, mysterious one. He's walking around brooding all the time. We learned that he used to play football or was good at sports apparently, but he quit for some reason. We come to find out he's sad because he knows his mother cancer is back and she's dying, and he likes Belly. That's literally it. That's all we learned about him. Jeremiah, he's the life of the party, likes to have fun. He's a bit of a flirt. We also see he's oblivious to his mother's situation until he finds out in the last episode, and he liked Belly. That's all we learn about them. From all episodes 1 through 7, that's all the information we get on these 2 boys. Like, I would literally go as far as to say we learn way more about the mothers in the show, both of them. Conrad and Jeremiah's mother dealing with her cancer, her separation from her husband because he cheated on her during her first journey through this cancer battle, how she's trying to be strong for her kids, trying to hide this from. Even with Belly's mom, we see her battling with her divorce. We see her wanting to get back out there and start dating again. We get to see her talk about writing her book, her losing inspiration, and we also get to see her battle with the ultimate realization that her best friend is gonna die. We get none of that characterization or development from the 2 boys in the show, like none at all. And this causes this love triangle to just fail for 2 main reasons. One, we all know the trope of the love triangles. 90% of the time, I would say 90, even though it probably could be more, 90% of the time, the girl chooses the boy she fell in love with first or that she wanted first. So that would be Conrad. nothing in this season could lead you to believe that Jeremiah would be her choice, especially with her ending up with Conrad at the end of the season. Now, once again, I don't know what happens in the books. I do not want to know. I want to give my predictions, my guesses, and see what happens from here. But there's nothing that leads me to believe that this is really even a choice at all. Even when she was with Cam, she was thinking about Conrad. When she was with Jeremiah, she was thinking about Conrad. And now she's with Conrad. There's nothing there to lead me to believe that Conrad isn't her choice. So the whole main story is about her making this decision, but it doesn't really feel like a decision at all. It feels like it's always gonna be Conrad, especially because in the last episode, her mom specifically says, and we're going to talk about this scene where Conrad steps in and saves her because Jeremiah didn't show up to dance with her at the debutante. We're going to talk about that. Just give me a second. But her mother literally says Conrad is like the sun, and once the sun comes up, all the other stars go away. Mainly talking about all the other stars being boys, of course, and Conrad being the biggest of them all, the one and only. Basically just telling us that that's who she wanted from the very beginning, and that's who she's most likely gonna end up with. So there's no suspense, there's nothing there to make you believe that she will be with Jeremiah long term. At the very least, they might date a few more episodes or whatever just to make some type of problems go on, but other than that, Conrad is the obvious choice. There's nothing in this season that's gonna lead you to believe that Jeremiah is still an option, especially with the way season 1 ended with her being with Conrad, because they always do this thing where they make the second option do something stupid or fuck up for some reason so that it's an easier choice on the girl. In Vampire Diaries, because they had a scene exactly like this where Elena was in a pageant, Stefan was her date, but Stefan started drinking human blood again, I believe, so he was messing up, fucking around. Damon steps in to save her, and that kind of starts and sparks their friendship, not even relationship, their friendship, where she starts to rely on him just a little more. While in this show, they do that when Jeremiah and Belly are dating. He takes her to the debutante, and right before the dance is about to start, Jeremiah disappears, and of course Conrad steps in to save her. But the problem with this is, the reason Jeremiah wasn't there is he just found out his mother was dying. No one told him this information. Both his brother and mother hid this from him. So they made him miss out this important moment with and for Belly just to have Conrad step in when the reason he wasn't there was valid as fuck. But they always do this so to make the option for the girl easier. Now, once again, I haven't read the books. I don't know who she ends up with. Don't tell me. But currently, there's nothing there to lead me to believe Jeremiah is a valid option, or there's a high chance they end up together at the end. Once again, they always end up picking the guy they fell for first, and they always end up making the other boy fuck up doing something they probably wouldn't do, or they just do it just to make the choice easier. And the last thing about this section, and I guess this section would be the biggest because the whole show is about a love triangle, which is my last problem with this, because the whole show is about a love triangle, they rushed the fuck out of all of her relationships, literally all 3 of them. She's with all 3 boys within 7 episodes. And the problem with that is, once again, we learn nothing about any of these characters. It's all just happening so fucking fast. Once again, to compare it to the Vampire Diaries, because even though the love story is such a big deal in that show as well, there's so much other shit going on. There's the console, they were about Catherine, there's Klaus, and so on and so forth. So all those elements help build on the love story, but this show doesn't do that. It goes straight into the love stories, and it felt like it almost happened out of nowhere, the way she goes from Cam to Jeremiah to Conrad. Like, it picks up so fucking fast, and that's also just weird because even in the Vampire Diaries, in the first season, we learn about these characters. Damon, he starts off looking like he's the bad guy, he's evil, but we come to find out he's just doing this for love. He wants to save Catherine. We find out it was Stefan who made Damon a vampire. We found out it was Stefan who made Catherine get caught. We revealed all this information, and we see how different their interactions and personalities are when they're with Elena. This show does none of that, and I hate to keep comparing it to Vampire Diaries, but that's one of the fewest shows I watch that I can make a comparison where I see an obvious love triangle, and also there are two brothers. One is the older mysterious brother, the younger good brother, and so on and so forth. So that was the easiest show I could make a comparison to. But as you can see, if it's all about this love triangle, you can see why it doesn't work. So that's the main problem. The whole show is about this love triangle, but there's so many holes and problems with it that it doesn't really, there's nothing there to hold your interest. Unless you're a book lover, a fan of the books, then I understand why you're watching the show. But for new people, there's nothing there to make you intrigued in the long term. I'm literally gonna name this section everything else and just speed run it because there's not even too much to say. Like, as for the other characters, none were bad, particularly bad if I'm being honest. I pretty much liked all of them. Her brother had a pretty good storyline with his girlfriend with the whole Taylor situation. I guess that could be interesting to see how it plays out in season 2. The mothers, once again, probably my favorite characters in this show. The most realistic, we learn the most from them. They have the most impactful storylines, if we're being honest, with divorce, cancer, the realization of best friend dying, like I said earlier. It's just so much more meaningful what's going on there, and it's so much more insightful into their minds and their lives compared to all the other characters. It's kind of weird that the only nitpick I have is with the main storyline. I guess you could say that they could do better with the B plots and C plots because everything like that was just set up for the main story as well, which kind of felt weird. Like the volleyball tournament, it was just there to knock Jeremiah out the way so Conrad could come through and save the day again. Just like with the debutante, it was there so that throughout the whole story she could hold off on who she wants to ask. She didn't want to ask Cam, so she wanted to ask Conrad. She ended up asking Jeremiah. Jeremiah ended up not dancing with her. It just felt a little drawn out. So I think if the subplots could be better, it could make the overall show better. But the only subplots that were bad, because like I said, I liked the parents, I liked her brothers, what was going on with him. The only subplots that were bad was the main characters. So I don't know, they need to do a better job of diving into those characters. I'm not even supposed to be talking about them in this section, but I just don't have anything positive or negative to say about anything else with the show. It was just fine. Like, that's the only way I could put it, to be honest. But that's all I got for you. So, like I said, at the time of recording this, season 2 is probably 5-6 days away. You guys could tell me down in the comments if you agree with my takes, am I way off? Because I honestly just felt like it was rushed. I literally sat down in one setting and watched all 7 episodes. I'm like, oh, I got a free day. It's only going to be 5 to 6 hours. It's going to be pretty slight. And at the end of this, maybe the whole thing was a blur because I took in all the information at once. But I just truly feel like nothing happened and nothing was learned within the 3 main characters. But you can tell me your thoughts and opinions down below. You could give me some insight on the books as well. As I said, I don't know much. You could try without spoiling too much. I know I'm probably going to have some people just spoiling it. But as usual, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Tell me all your thoughts and opinions down below. If this video does well, I'll talk about season 2. I don't know if Amazon drops all the episodes at once or they do one a week. I'll look into that. But based on how this video performed, I'll see if you guys want me to continue talking about this show. As usual, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.